It was Father's Day, June 23, 1965. Houston, Texas. A quiet neighborhood, a simple house, and inside, a horror that would haunt investigators for decades. Fred and Edwina Rogers were found brutally dismembered, stuffed inside their own refrigerator. Their son, Charles Rogers, vanished without a trace. Was he a cold-blooded killer, or did he disappear for reasons far more sinister? Tonight, we take a deep dive into the chilling mystery of the Icebox murders. Discovery of the crime. When Houston police entered 1815 Driscoll Street, what they found was beyond disturbing. Fred and Edwina Rogers had been butchered. Their bodies had been meticulously drained of blood, dismembered, and carefully arranged inside the refrigerator. Their heads were missing. Their organs were flushed down the plumbing. But what made this crime truly terrifying was the fact that the house was spotless. No fingerprints, no signs of struggle, as if the killer had planned every detail. And then, there was one key detail that left detectives baffled. Their son, Charles Rogers, was gone. No note, no evidence of a struggle, just vanished into thin air.
To understand the Icebox murders, we must first understand Charles Rogers, a gifted man, a pilot, a geophysicist, a former Navy officer fluent in multiple languages. But despite his intelligence, Charles had become a recluse, living in the attic of his parents' home. He communicated only through notes slipped under the door, and according to those who knew the family, his relationship with his parents was toxic. Witness said Fred and Edwina controlled him. They lived off his money, kept him isolated. Some say he despised them. So the question is, was Charles driven to murder, or was he framed? Investigators pieced together a theory. On the morning of June 20th, 1965, Charles, after years of resentment, snapped. He murdered his parents in cold blood, methodically dismembering them. He cleaned the crime scene with military precision, and then he disappeared. But here's where things get strange. Despite the horrific nature of the crime, there was no physical evidence linking Charles to the murder. No bloody footprints, no murder weapon, no witnesses. It was as if he vanished into thin air. But what if he didn't disappear on his own?
In the years following his disappearance, chilling rumors began to emerge. Charles Rogers was more than just a gifted man. He was a highly trained pilot with ties to the US military and possibly the CIA. Some even believe he was involved in covert operations, including the Bay of Pigs invasion. Could it be that Charles wasn't a killer at all, but an operative who had to disappear? Experts said the lack of forensic evidence, the precision of the crime, and his sudden disappearance all suggest one thing. This wasn't a man on the run. This was a professional extraction.
Other suspects. Was it a hit? Theory number one. The parents were murdered due to illegal dealings. Some researchers believe Fred Rogers had ties to underground business dealings, possibly blackmailing the wrong people. Could their deaths have been a targeted hit? Theory number two. A cover-up. If Charles was indeed connected to intelligence agencies, could his parents have known too much? Could they have been eliminated to secure Charles's disappearance? For over 50 years, no confirmed trace of Charles Rogers has ever been found. Some claim he fled to South America, possibly Argentina. Others believe he was silenced. Some say he's still out there, hidden under a new identity. But one thing is certain: he was never seen again. As we near the end of our investigation, new questions still remain. Were there any secret messages left behind in Charles Rogers' attic? Did law enforcement intentionally leave out key evidence? And most importantly, who, if anyone, is still searching for the truth? We will explore newly uncovered reports, reanalyze old case files, and attempt to piece together what might have really happened on that fateful day in 1965.
So what do you believe? Was Charles Rogers a killer? Or was he a pawn in a larger conspiracy? Comment below with your thoughts, and let me know which part of this mystery you want to see fully investigated next. Subscribe now, because the truth is out there, and we're just getting started.